Good evening, everybody. We're back. This is 3D6 Down the Line. We are doing our Dolmenwood campaign, continuing episode 17 using the old school essential system. And I am your referee, John. And going around the horn once again, we have Mike playing Alfric, the magic user, David playing Gwillem, Brother Gwillem, the friar, and Matt playing Halifax Swinney, the knight, and Ted playing Argus, the fighter. So we left our intrepid adventurers in quite a conundrum last time, a little bit of a time issue. So they had issued out of the White Way at the southern end of it through the Mizzle Door, which was near Fog Lake. After encountering, well, they were hidden. They were hiding in a crypt and actually saw the Droon walk by who were hunting them, and exiting out. Brother Gwillem went right back in, but Brother Gwillem never came back out, according to the other three. Not only that, but when you guys had exited out of the Mizzle Door, the Pim, your Brother Gwillem's retainer, and was nowhere to be seen. So it appears too, because the sun is further in the sky than when you had left it, that there was it's either later in the day or it has advanced significantly in time. Through a number of days, you have a feeling it's the latter because the weather is slightly different as well. So I guess we're going to pick it up there. Let's see.
Right. So I think we had agreed amongst ourselves that we were going to, knowing that there was a possibility of time dilation, we'd kind of worked that out. Recognizing that Gwillem had done something slightly crazy, we were just going to wait for him, but not out in the open. We have to hide in case the Droon come out. So we need to look for someplace nearby where we can hide ourselves and still keep an eye on the door so that Gwillem doesn't come out like, oh, crap, where'd everybody go?
In fact, I was thinking maybe we could ask the Moss Dwarves for a little bit of help.
Yeah, good idea.
Help, they seem to know this area really well. Or at least the forest really well. They could help us find a good hiding spot, camouflage us a little bit so we could watch.
So the scenario is, though, that the Droon were going in the opposite direction, right? They were actually going towards the Glamoring Gate.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, and you didn't give yourselves away, so you have no indication that they would be coming back through the Mizzle Door anytime soon.
Right. And hopefully they're going to meet a bunch of pissed off goat guys. That would be amazing.
That would be good. That's actually more legit, right? Like, because if they decided that they were angry and tracked you, they might have gone through the Glamoring Gate, but you don't know what their predilection is for fairy doors whenever they see them, right?
Please.
Right. So to be
even
Willem's got this, though. He's got this.
Yeah. Even if there's no particular immediate reason to think the Droon are about to pop out, it would still be the better part of valor to just be discreet and not stand out in the open because they could.
Right. So
and they may not be the only party looking for us, right? Like there might be more than one, right? They might have put out an APB on us and be like, if you find these jackoffs in the woods, please go kill them. And so there might be like groups everywhere, right? Like we have to think about that.
Great. If all the Droon were looking for us, I love that. That sounds exciting.
So for the
we've got a wagon, that'll help.
That's to assume the worst, my friend.
So for the three of you, it's 3 p.m. and the weather is clement and cheery, so it's a lovely spring day.
There you go.
You can hear like there's these creatures called bog owls. You can hear like their booming croaks, sort of as evening settles in a little bit in the surrounding vegetation around here, and that there's wisps of fog that kind of betray the nearby presence of Fog Lake somewhere to the south.
Right.
Yes.
So I mean, we remember. Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
I raised my hand.
Yeah, you did. Didn't see it. I was looking at the map.
If we were to fast march directly to where we left our wagon, which is in this hex, how long would it take to get there?
So it's not in this hex. This is a wild hex. You left the cart in the nearest hex where there was road, and then you traveled south.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, but yes, given that given no weird stuff happening, like if you just make a beeline through the wilderness back to as a crow flies to that to the cart again, you're looking at about 6 or 7 miles.
Okay. Not a journey you can start at 3:00 in the afternoon in the forest in like early springtime or mid springtime or 10 years from when we went through the door or whatever it is.
Yeah,
And expect to like get there like in a reasonable fashion. Okay. So
you would definitely still be traveling at nighttime, and you would be in completely trackless wilderness.
yeah. So we should definitely wait for morning, and we'll tell the
Absolutely.
boss dwarves that and say that we have a camp by the road about 6-7 miles that way. If they're still there, we have no idea how long we were in the gate, but that'll make our journey back to civilization that much easier if we find them.
Okay, this is like K-Bobby's. It seems pretty pleasant here, but might be danger of something coming through the door.
Let's hide.
Yeah, I think so. Someplace we can get into, a copse of trees or some scrub or brush or something.
Can we do like a YouTube montage and just build like a cool like underground like bunker?
Oh yeah, yeah.
What about your friend? He hasn't come back out through the door.
We'll keep an eye on the door. Wherever we go should be close enough to the door that we can swap out a watch, right? We're going to have somebody kind of watching the door all night until, he shows up. We don't want to abandon him, even though we only just met the guy.
Kind of, yeah. It's a good point. He's a man of God, though.
Okay,
We got
there's
to
it's
take care of the man of
the
God.
door's right in the midst of the forest, right? So there's like trees all around. There's plenty of places to hide. There's no caves or anything, unfortunately, but you do know that the stories about Fog Lake is that it is in a deep basin that apparently has crystal-lined caves, like basically surrounding it. But that would not be within sight of the Mizzle door. But it would provide, if what you've heard, it would provide shelter for you. So if you're determined to watch the gate itself, then you're basically finding shrubbery, basically hedges and stuff like that, to hide in, I guess.
Why don't we like hide, wait for Sir Gwillem, or not Sir Gwillem, Gwillem, and then if
Gwillem.
honestly, I just knighted you. Congratulations. And then if he comes out soon, we can go back to the wagon. Might get there after dark, but if he comes back later, we can maybe just go check out some of the caves. Maybe stay in the caves overnight.
Okay, so
could we we potentially camp further away and just have one person on watch close
That's what
enough to see the door?
Like someone that has enough of a perspective that they're close enough to the door to see someone coming out.
Right.
And then maybe have them be equidistant between the door and a camp, right? So that
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Right. And then we just rotate that person out like all night.
Yeah. That way that, if we had a fire to cook dinner and stuff, it'll be hidden. And whoever's just on watch is just sitting there in the shrubs, with the blanket over their head.
Just in case though, David, have you made another character yet or no?
I never make another character until the one's gone. I think it poisons your mindset to have no.
I made one
yeah, we do
for
that.
Argus right away because
No, of course.
and I still haven't used him, so
Well, I think you either make 5 right at the start, and treat it truly like an old game where you just your mindset is that you sort of have a retinue that's assigned to you as player, or you just see how it goes, baby.
The only reason Ted hasn't used that next guy is because that guy has a con of 4.
at that point I would have lied to John and thrown that character away.
All right, so the Misty Guardians basically look down upon you disapprovingly as you kind of take up your watch. And hours go by, night falls. You set up camp, and Gwillem has not returned.
Oh, man.
So understanding now that you are looking at probably having to spend the night out here, do you plan to do it within sight of the door, or are you going to find shelter?
Same thing that we talked about before.
I liked Mike's plan with the one guy watching, kind of spaced out, equidistant.
Okay. All right.
How's that Mike's plan?
I thought that's what Mike said.
I said it. Mike said he
No.
agreed with me.
No, that's not true. I also said it better.
Oh.
For camping, do you guys have bedrolls and tents?
Uh,
think all that.
Uh,
we have Ethel.
Halifax
Ethel has a
does.
Ethel has a
Halifax
cook
kept I don't have the cook pot, but I do
No.
have a tent and a bedroll in his backpack with him.
Matt,
So-
can you hear me?
I can't. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me,
Was it-
Matt?
What'd you say? Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, Ethel has a cook pot and tent.
Okay. I have a second tent.
You
and
do have a
bedroll.
second tent. Okay.
So, who raise your hand if you do not have both a bedroll and a tent? Elfric.
I
Okay.
bet 2 people in a tent though.
There's 2 people to go to a tent. We have 2 tents. I have
have a
one
bedroll.
bedroll. Do you have a bedroll on you, Mike?
I do.
Yeah, okay, we're good then, John.
Do the moss? How are the moss dwarves set up? I'm assuming that they can.
Yeah,
They're kind of all set with their stuff, right?
Sleep with moss.
yeah, they're fine.
Guys, I'm going to try and open my character sheet, so if I get kicked off, you'll know why.
Okay, so let's see here.
And if we,
How to do this?
I've got a shovel with this too, so if we can do something to like hide the fire, light, that kind of thing, dig a little trench or whatever, just to
that's
make
smart.
it a little more hidden and secret.
Yep.
So we don't have to glow through the forest in case the Druin come.
All right, we're gonna have to kind of what's the word? Elide, whatever. Gloss over some procedural stuff in order to kind of accommodate this time and situation. Switching back over to Gwillem. Gwillem, when you walked out, as we ended last session, you saw that they were nowhere to be seen. You also can tell by, so the 3 guys, it was 3 p.m. For you, you come out and it's 5 p.m. and the weather is brisk and clear, which was definitely different, a little bit colder than whenever you had stepped through just a minute ago. So when you step back out, they're basically gone. So probably should have thought about this a little bit more. I shouldn't speak to that. They're gone. Okay, I'm sorry, David. You're gonna have to hold on for just a couple more minutes. I gotta switch back. So
Quite all right.
you 3, whenever you go. So here's the way it's gonna go. He's not coming back anytime soon. Like longer than you would have any sort of patience or desire to hang out by this door. So at a certain point, you would probably realize that that he's not coming. Like you would either like want to go back into the door and look for him. Although you probably already know what's going on and that you might further risk time dilation, or you would, I don't know, you have to let me know, but it's like, or you could actually decide like, we are not going to leave until we actually find him, until he actually steps through that door. Like eventually he will step through that door, so, but it's not a case of like, I'm not going to be willing to sort of procedurally go through every single day as you wait for Gwillem. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be more than a day. So with that in mind, what do you want to do?
Can we still see him? Because when you look through the door, you can see misty shapes, right? Like he steps through the door, we see his outline in the mist.
Yeah, you don't see him when he steps through.
All right, well, then he got eaten by something awful in there. And I say by breakfast time the next morning, let's go find our wagon, guys.
Well, another thing, like he has a penchant for leaving particular marks on places. I can't remember what it exactly was that he was doing.
He's building little stone cairns in like the areas that we were exploring.
Yeah, marking in the forest just to show where we've been and just kind of indicators and so on. Yeah, we could leave him a message with something like that, and
I think we should. That way, if he did manage to survive, or if there were, because by the morning, like it's obviously more than just like a couple of hours that this thing happened to him. So we could leave him directions, because we're not far from Prigwort. If you can make it back to the road, we're not far.
Here's the thing about it, man. We go and we find our wagon. We got to drop the Moss Dwarves off in someplace civilized anyway, right?
Yeah.
So they're not going to hang out forever. They're going to eventually be like, we got to go. Our cheese is starting to solidify or something. So we take them back to Prigwort. We go hopefully find our wagon, go back to Prigwort, restock. We want to come down and explore the caves anyway, so we can we can follow our tracks right back here, go to the gate, this time with hopefully more support, and
find his bone.
Or even hire a couple of guys to be like, go camp out at the door for like 2 weeks, and find our little monk. And then I think we should plan on going back down to the Crystal Caves, because there's a rogue wizard down there carrying my spell book. I want it back.
Well, I will say we have enough food on Ethel to the three of us could stay here like 6 days. So I'm not opposed to anything you say, Mike. I just wanted to throw that out there.
So we're not hurting.
That's all well and good, but we don't know where our wagon is. We don't know how long we've been gone.
No,
but the wagon is a pretty big resource sink right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
So should say leave a message, a little pile of rocks with an arrow or something. He'll know what it means.
Back to Prigwort. He knows how to read, right? I mean, I think he does.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to leave anything that was obvious that Droon could read. I think if we left a message similar to the ones that we'd been carving in trees and leaving around as markers in the forest, as he had suggested, he would get it, and it would be obvious to him what it was.
Yeah, I was doing cairns and carving like symbols into trees. We didn't.
Like real Boy Scout manual stuff, right?
We could put something in the message that the Droon wouldn't know about, like who's the half goat priest at the church in Prigwort?
Yeah, Reverend Smunk.
We could be like, gonna go. Did you say Reverend Monk?
Reverend Smunk, Liane Smunk.
See you at Smunk's place.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, yeah, and then we head back to the wagon.
And the monastery is burned down.
Yeah, well, tough life being a monk.
Cool, I love it.
See you at Monk's place.
And we'll like put this note like under a cairn like he's been building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
And put like that dirty sock that I shoved under your helmet on top of it, just as like a little flag.
Okay. So
that we don't actually know the date now.
Nope.
Mm-mm. For all we know, man, Prigwort is like ashes and is like 1,000 years in the ground. For all we know.
Damn dirty apes have knocked down our statuary.
If you were down a hit point or anything, you gain one overnight. And don't forget to take off a ration for each one of you.
I'll mark it off of Ethel.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So that means it is this day for you guys. All right, so that's AAH. That's you guys. All right, do me a favor and roll 2d6, please.
You got it, Matt?
I got it. We're rocking an 8.
Ooh.
Okay. Lovely, bright and fresh day next day. And you make your little sign on the cairn. And your plan is to trek overland to check to see if the cart is there, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Now I'm switching back over to Gwilym. David, when you come back out in this brisk day, your friends are nowhere to be seen. However, upon one of the cairns, you see this sign that Argus has put on there for you.
How weathered is the note?
Would you put it on parchment, Argus?
Yeah, piece of parchment under the rock.
So
he would have to take apart the cairn.
Does it look like it's dealt with a thaw or rotten from months of rain. You know what I mean? Sorts of things that would just
Yeah, it's pretty.
intense amounts of weather.
It's not like it's pretty beat up. Yeah, but you can easily still make out the message.
So, John, what level are we now when he finds us?
Yeah.
Well, there's actually two 3D6 down the line streams. This is a
Yeah.
fork on the timeline.
It's a parallel, so
Supreme.
All right, so I will pocket that note, and I mean, I don't know what they're planning to do in terms of checking in. I'm assuming if they left the note, they don't plan to, but I will scatter the Karn. There's no way I could like arrange it in a way that's like a gotcha. So anyway, I'll just scatter the Karn just so no one else finds it.
you scatter. Okay, cool. So, like
Yeah.
I said at the end of the last session, there is no sign of, except for that your friends were here at all. Although there is just generally, like in this kind of little dell on the wooded slopes of the area, there's indication that people have approached the middle door in general, but nothing that gives away that your friend's presence, although it does appear that they were here.
Okay.
So you can basically confirm that you are most likely are definitely like ahead in time, right? Like they came out before you did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't make sense. No, you wouldn't be able to conclude that because you came out with them and then you went back in and then came back out again. So they could have just left. You know what I mean? So whatever.
Bastards.
But there was no.
Speaking of leaving,
Well, hold on one second. The one thing that you could confirm is like you stepped in and then right back out again. So you were in there for like 30 seconds and came back out. Not enough time for Argus to have written that parchment note and left. Right, that sort of thing, and plus the
Or
you know
just
the sun
stack a car
is
and all the other
different,
stuff.
the weather's different, the whole deal. Right, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think I'm obviously going to pocket the note, scatter the Karns, and head to where I assumed the wagon would be. Though I am suspicious of the time that I'm on.
Okay, cool. So as you gather your gear, like, well, it looks like I may have screwed up, and you start to trudge through the forest, you hear two voices actually pop into existence behind you, back towards the middle door.
Okay.
And they are
I love it.
and it's one who is gagging in pain, a male voice gagging in pain, and another one who is grunting. What do you do? Like grunting from exertion.
All right, I'm going to.
That was a horrible,
well.
horrible setup.
Yeah.
Let your imaginations run wild, kids. Could be anything. Sorry, go ahead, dude. What does Gwillem think it is?
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna about face, and I'm going to sort of like hide behind a tree or a rock or some version of that, and see if I can get an eye line on what just appeared out of the portal.
Okay, so you do, and you look back and you see that it is two figures. One is huge, way over 7 feet tall, obviously a crookhorn, comes popping through the gate, and he is dragging by the hair a Droon. Just pulling him along, and the Droon is like kicking his feet, and he's just like as he's pulling him through, and then like he basically like with one pull of his arm just sort of throws him forward, and the Droon like hits the ground. He's like gagging, and he's like clawing at his face, and whenever he gets up and looks back at his captor, you see that one eye has actually been ripped out of his head. And it's just like blood streaming down his face. But when the late afternoon sun hits his face through the blood, you can see that his face is completely and totally inked with tattoos, and you recognize it as the lesser of the two Droon that were having the conversation, the one that the leader called Limnus, the one that actually wanted to go investigate the mausoleum, but was told, we have people that we're trying to track. You know, let's stay on course. This appears to be that lesser one. Limnus, yeah. And so the crookhorn basically points down at him, and he's got his big snout and his leaking, pussy eye, his, just sniffing the air, and he's like, I don't see anything. You told me that we'd be able to find those sons of bitches through this door. I see nothing. And Limnus is like, no, we know that they came from this direction. They must be around here somewhere. If not there, then through the Glamoring Gate. We already saw them through there, and we know that they came this way. And he's like, you are seconds away from being my next meal.
Okay, so on observation, any injury on this big fella?
Not except for like the general state of what crookhorns look like, which is like suppurating wounds basically all over them from mange and all their awfulness. But yeah, he does not look to. He does not look like one of the ones that the one that got into the fight with the burning one.
Next question, which I kind of already know the answer to, but I should ask anyway. The prayers that I do, right, whose duration are 24 hours, right? They give me an extra spell.
Mm-hmm.
Via time dilation, is that timeline attached to my person or to the objective time of the world state?
The objective time.
Fuck.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
I gotta be cruel. I gotta be cruel with that one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of objective time, I got to step away for 1 minute.
Sure.
I'll be right back.
No problem.
Sure. No, that's good. That's very interesting. I like that. That gets the
cosmos cares not for your personal.
Sure. Of course. Yeah. It isn't about. Well, it says a lot about time itself, doesn't it?
Sure. That's true.
But all right.
So he's like looming, like his shadow's like basically looming over the Druin, and the Druin's sort of like backing up through the brush, and is just in bad shape. No sign of his staff anywhere, for one thing, right? And he looks absolutely terrified, like he sees his death in this crookhorn's eyes.
We are really bad at making friends. We are astonishingly bad.
The crookhorn has a huge club that is like savagely spiked, like with no sort of like, just like big pieces of metal just ratcheted into the end of it.
So I'm about to make a decision. I'm just.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just setting the scene for you. Yeah.
I love it. No, it's amazing.
Oh my God! Somebody play the fucking Jeopardy theme music, please.
No, that's copyrighted. We probably can't play that. You don't want to get pulled off YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, I am.
You're hiding behind a tree, man. It seems like a good plan to me.
I don't know, man. You could save our bacon with the Druin if you save this guy.
What do you think I'm trying to conceive of right now, man? Come on. Okay. All right. So this big thing is hulking towards the Druin. I am hiding behind a tree. I am a very squishy solo individual, but I am going to. And I heard Limnus's name before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to. In the most bellowing. Go ahead.
I should qualify wounds on the crookhorn. He does actually have some what appears to be fresh scorch marks, like blackened pieces of fur.
Sure. I'm gonna.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna cast. No, it's okay. I'm gonna do two things, kind of simultaneously. I'm gonna cast light. I'm gonna use it to blind the what are they called? Sorry.
Crookhorn?
Crookhorn. I'm going to use it to blind the crookhorn.
Mm-hmm.
So 120 foot range. Duration is 12 turns. Blinding a creature by casting the spell upon its eyes. If the target fails a save throw versus spells, it is blinded for duration. Blinded creatures cannot attack. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to surprise him with a blind and pray that he doesn't save. And Upon if it does succeed, I guess we can just go from there. I
Okay,
guess that's
cool. All right, so you're gonna cast light. All right, so you say a prayer through shuddering breath, and let's see if he makes it here.
What's the name of this prayer, David?
Light.
No,
Oh, what is the Peleiotic name? Let
Yeah.
me look it up.
I love those names.
Those
I
are
wanna
always
hear it.
amazing. Give me one
Yeah.
second. It is.
The prayer of Saint
Okay.
Light.
St. Fogarty's benediction.
Oh, that's right. This is the benediction. Yeah. That's good.
Yes,
Right.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
All right, so you call forth Saint Fogarty's benediction, malediction in the case of for this crookhorn, because the light of God shines forth from your holy symbol and catches this crookhorn straight in the face. As he's bending over, or brandishing his club over top the druid, who's like, "No, I swear they're here!" And it's all of them, and he's like, "Oh!" And his club like falls. He raises his hands. His club falls back down to the earth, and he clutches his eye. And he's like, "No, I didn't say." The druid is like looking wildly about, like, "What in the name of the Fanatok was that?" And he's got like only one eye as he's like looking around.
Okay. How far is the crookhorn from the fog gate?
From the missile door, he's like right in front of it.
I'm going to charge as fast as I can and try to shove him through the gate.
Nice. All right, brother. Willem hikes up the
You
robes.
can also just kneel right behind him. And the druid just
Or yeah, just to do a little trip, you know. Whatever method makes my friar physique most effective at pushing the stumbled blind crookhorn through this fog gate, I'm going to attempt.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you why don't you make me an attack roll? A melee attack roll.
And here's how we're going to fail. Okay, so
You've got 12 rounds to do it, man.
there you go. I do have 12
Well,
rounds.
I'm going to lower this. I'm going to lower this guy's AC like a whole bunch because he can't defend himself basically at all. So
Yeah,
It's a ranged
exactly. Wait, so for an unarmored, what am I rolling for this?
rolling a d20, and you're going to
Yeah, I
add
guess
your
it's not even a
strength
damage
bonus if
thing,
you've got
so-
one.
Yeah, that's true. So the other info is not necessary. So d20, that's a 14 plus 1, that's a 15.
Oh, do you have a bonus to strength?
Yep.
Hell yeah. Oh, Gum's a little beefy.
Pryor's been working out, man.
Should have been a fighter.
Listen, I have those tree trunk calves of a good hiker, you know, you just sort of
Right. So you leap agilely over top Limnus's body and barrel into the crookhorn's shape, who's like just like really backwards, and you plow into him. He like collapses over top of you. The stinking the stinking fur and heat of him and the wetness of just mildewy fur just like collapses over you as you barrel into him, grab him around the waist, and throw him bodily through the missile door. This all, sort of slow-mo as you kind of push him through, like the statue's faceless eyes just kind of turn to watch you as you do it, and you hurl him bodily through, and he disappears through the gate.
knowing that we have no assurance that he won't come back at exactly the right time. I'm going to turn. Sorry, did I cut you off, John?
No, I'm done here.
Okay. I'm going to pivot on my heel. I'm going to beeline to this drone. I'm going to grab him by the collar and say, "Come, don't ask questions." And I'm going to sprint through the woods with him. Doesn't matter. I'm grabbing him and trying to run with him. You're welcome.
You can see like the look of like dilemma over his face, but he's like he can't.
We don't have time. He'll be back. We'll both be dead if we
Yes,
don't.
yes, of course. And he gets up and runs toward.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go check on my kids. I'll be right back.
Sure.
I'm going to run, I don't know, 100 yards into the woods towards where I think the caravan is, long enough that I think we're out of any immediate, earshot or vision of this guy. And I'm going to take a breather and
Okay.
let us catch our breath.
Yeah, he's like collapsed up against a tree with like one hand, and he's just got his hand like over his, his gaping wound in his face. He's just like, like he's just coming to terms with the fact that his death was like right there in front of him until you came.
Yeah.
So we're gonna switch over if that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, totally.
All right. So Argus and Halifax and Alfric, you guys are going to make your way overland with Ethel towards the road. So let me just roll a thing here. Well, first of all, okay, yeah, hold on. Okay. So you guys, I need you to roll to see if you're well, actually no. I was going to say you have to see if you're going to lose direction, but what did we rule for Gwillem's markers? What did I say for that? I can't remember.
You said
think
you'd
we
give
said
us
that-
an advantage to not advantage, but an advantage on rolls. You'd modify it, but you didn't say what.
Okay, got it.
Did he didn't say? Did he exactly? Did he?
I don't think so. I was going to lie
it
and
was-
say that we just succeed, but
No, it's not. It was.
I was
Was it
lowering
the
the
same as the hunter's advantage? I can't remember.
Well, it
Does the
depend-
hunter have like a 4 and 6.
What's cool is that depending on the terrain in Dolmenwood, each hex gives me a chance of getting lost. And so
Right.
I believe what I said is that it would just reduce that chance by 1. And if the base chance was already 1 in 6, then there would be no chance of getting lost. Well, at least that's what I'm saying now. So in this case, I just need one of you to roll me a d6, please, and don't roll a 1.
your turn, man.
Okay, I'm on it. D6. No, don't roll a 1.
Don't roll one.
Good. All right. Cool. So you are able, thanks to Gwillem's markers, to be able to find your way back through the wilderness to the road. So the Horse Eye Road lies before you. You're so hoping that your lovely covered. Do you guys have the covered wagon? I remember. Yeah.
Oh
The
man.
expensive covered wagon.
Yeah.
It had our names like carved in it.
And also Weevil and Bregan were going to be there as well, right?
And pot. What,
We're going to be there.
Yeah. So
our dog too.
unfortunately, there is no sign of your caravan. If you're looking for a silver lining, there does not look like there was any sort of scuffle or anything like that. It's just like the road is empty, but there is tracks going up and down it. You know that this is a well-traveled road. To your left, going up to the northwest, is Prigwort, and to the southeast, the Refuge of St. Key, and further on, Castle Brackenwold.
So we definitely have the spot where we left them. Like
Yeah,
this is the clearing.
You totally recognize it. You're like, oh yeah, this is the part of the road where we were like, okay, we're going to the wilderness.
I mean, the fact that
Is there
there's
like
no
a
wreckage.
campfire?
Hmm?
Is there like a campfire spot there that we know that they set up camp? Like, can we find like where they were doing their cook fires and stuff like that?
Yeah, you probably could see some of that. Yeah, probably off in the forest. It's not an uncommon thing for travel.
I understand.
Well, actually, no, it would be an uncommon thing because most people can get between the refuge and Prigwort within a day's travel. Like, no one's actually staying out here on the road. So, yes, you do see the remnants of fire pits. There does not seem to be any sort of scuffle or any sort of sign of violence or anything like that. It looks like everything was packed up
I
orderly.
just want to see how sooty is it. Like, I want to go and find the fire pit that we know because we were there when they set up camp
Mhm.
before we went off on our way.
Mhm.
The days.
So find that spot and see like what's there in the fire pit. If it's all blown away, if it's an empty fire pit and there's some rocks there, and then we know that they've been gone for a while.
Yeah.
But if it's like sooty and
Still
there's
smoldering,
charcoal,
yeah.
Yeah, there's there's no embers. It is a cold, unused, like cold fire pit, like that has been used in some time.
Anywhere from like days to weeks.
I don't know. Not weeks, days. You would probably better say. So at this point, the Moss Dwarves are extremely delighted that you've taken them back to the Horse Eye Road, and they know that just basically a mile down the road, if that even, is the Mulcher's Path, which leads back to Orb Swallow. So K-Bob is like, thank you so much for rescuing us. Although we wish we were at the Hall of Sleep, we shall recuperate that Orb Swallow and try again, I suppose. But should you find your way to our humble town, we will show you every accommodation. You must visit the 3 trees and sample their fruits.
We would be honored.
Yeah.
Mm.
Of course.
Excellent traveling companions, and we look forward to your kind gift of the cheese.
It is our pleasure.
One, before you go, I'm very, very happy we were able to help you out. You're familiar with the Golden Dwarves? Did I hear something like that?
Golden dwarves.
Not
Gold elf?
dwarves, not
Golden
dwarves, elves.
Ah, yes.
I was aspiring.
You're near, well, as natives of Brigwort, I would assume you would know that you are within the domain of the Earl of Yellow. And his servitors are the yellow elves that ride upon those great golden wolves throughout the Yellow Wood. Very noble indeed. But to the north of here.
Okay.
What are you trying to get at, Matt?
No, I was because we had seen an elf like this that had been killed, and I was just
where?
Well, we don't know for sure. We came upon his body to the north. It seemed as though he'd been attacked by Droon. Would that make sense to you?
Is the elf encroaching on Droon territory? They are very protective.
It was near there. It was near there. That's possible. That's possible.
Then forgive me for prying, but if I put two and two together, if a yellow elf was encroaching upon Droon territory, that can only mean one place, and that is the Nodal Stone, the Gorth Stone. Am I right?
You are.
He is indeed right, yeah.
You're not canny enough to deceive you. We were in the vicinity of Warstone, and we came across a murdered golden elf and a few members of the Droon. Unfortunately, we fell on the disapproval of the Droon with our own being in that area.
And I have noticed from our encounter on the White Way, this is ill news. But regardless, you are welcome and will be protected in our town as much as we are able. We recommend do not truck with the Fae. And he just sort of smiled at you. And certainly, although it is probably too late, do not gain the animosity of the Droon.
Would any of the elders in Orb Swallow be familiar enough with the Droon and their ways to help us negotiate some sort of settlement with them, or give us the wisdom that we need in order to allay their rage?
We are simple folk that keep to ourselves. We are no sages among us, just what we know in our area, in our own small area. But there are folk like you that have this knowledge. The further west you go, the better the knowledge would be, I would say.
Interesting. Why to the west?
Well, that is the heart of Droon territory, around the haunted lake Longmere. None dare go there.
I had no idea.
So west like Red Wraith Manor, or west like Dreg? Or even further?
Well,
No. He said west of Lake Longmere, Ted. So
No, but he said west of here. I'm just wondering how far west we have to go. Like all the way to Longmere?
You know, he's west as in, the mystical west,
Okay. You see on the map all those like weird shadowy guys that are standing in the forest west of Horlight Keep? Methinks that might be the clue.
Well, there's
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there's a huge standing stone ring. It's like massive all the way around Horblight Keep. I bet you that's some Droon territory. All right. Well,
Bow deeply to the dwarves and say, fair travels. May we meet again.
All right, they bow to you and they make their merry fungal way along the Moltres path to the northeast.
shedding spores as they go.
So, with your caravan gone, what do you plan to do now?
We go to Prigwort and find our skells and beat their asses for taking our shit.
Start walking.
Or at least
Yeah.
figure out what day it is.
Okay, so
Taking a page out of David's book, and I'm memorizing sleep and light for my 2 spells.
We should also leave another cairn here. We left the note that said meet you at Smunk's place, but we should leave a cairn here that we were at this spot and we went north on the road.
you're moving
Right in the middle of the fire pit. Right in the middle of the fire pit.
You're moving 12 miles a day, correctly? Correct.
Let me look at my well, currently, yeah, 12.
So it took you, let's see, about half the day to get to the road. You have assumed it'll take the rest of the day to get back to Prigwort. But you are trucking along on the road, and as you are moving along the road to the northwest, as the sun is sinking in the west, this lovely day, you do come across a small merchant caravan that's actually coming from Prigwort to Castle Brackenwold, who hail you on the road, but they don't really stop you. Yes.
I'm looking for our wagon in the caravan.
Yeah, it's not there.
And I asked him the date
Aha.
if they happen to know.
Yes. They say it's a rather strange thing to ask, but it is, of course, friend. It is the 3rd of Simswald.
Louise, oh, we missed some time.
May the Lord bless you on this lovely day.
And
How
also
long is
you.
that?
Good. That's like we're at least a week off.
Safe travels. You're about to see the merry fires of Prigwort. If you haven't been there before, I do recommend the Wrinkled Meddler Inn. Superb entertainment there.
Hey, my birthday's coming up,
Hey.
guys.
Where's the Dolmenwood calendar here? Had one.
You are 8 days in the future from whenever you originally left.
Okay, thanks. Wait, so the last time we knew the date was
The 24th of Hagrai.
24th. Yeah.
24th of Hagrai. Right, okay. Okay.
So how long did we ask those guys to wait with our stuff?
Not
Like-
8 days.
Yeah, I mean, we paid them for 10, but we wouldn't have had them wait that long.
No.
I do have one question. Not to interject because I'm not in the scene. Would the presence of the mirror ever have interacted with activities both on their part or anyone along? Or I'll just throw that into the atmosphere because the mirror is still in there. Anyway,
Yeah, it's 3 weeks till my birthday, by the way. You'll have to get me something nice. My birthday's the 27th of Simswald. You guys could chip in and give me a 2nd level spell. That'd be awesome.
Oh,
So you know that this is the Feast of Saint Medagore, of course. Everyone knows that.
oh yeah.
Medagore, of course, is known as the Mead Fast. Is his moniker.
Okay.
Anyways, so you at the end of the night, you knowing now like how long has passed actually since you've been here. You make your way back into Prigwort, the twinkling lights of Prigwort in the lovely spring evening, and you find your way back to the Clashed Antler. At the Clashed Antler, assuming you go to the Clashed Antler, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Been kind of our home base.
Yeah. So when you get there, you discover that Elfric looking for your cart, that when you are stabling Ethel and everyone's welcoming you back, wondering where you've been on such a long journey, the grooms are like, "Oh, Mike, we got your cart right over here. We've been keeping it for over a week now." And they've got
Yes.
next to the stable, they've got like your carts all there, right?
Yay.
Yeah.
I'll go do a quick inventory.
If they've had it for over a week and we've only been gone for 8 days, we definitely asked them to stick around longer than a day.
We did. I thought, but maybe not.
But they also
we
could have
went-
gotten scared and gone home. I mean, they kept
Well,
it
yeah.
safe, you know?
I'm
Oh,
turning
yeah.
them into
No,
boots.
I made a mistake.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Whatever. They've had it for a few days or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
They-
So I don't have to turn them into boots.
They obeyed your orders and then left.
Okay.
You know.
You need boots.
So when you
If
go
you need boots.
when you go into the Clashed Antler, you see unfortunately that Ostish is there with his bounders raising hell again. So it's sort of noisy and annoying. But with their feet kicked up and enjoying a beer, you do see Weevil and Bregan, and they look at you and they just sort of raise an eyebrow and they kind of raise their glasses at you and they're like, "Glad you're alive." Our employer, the Friar. No.
You got
Work for the friar.
you got eaten by a mystical gate.
Yes, well, we assumed the worst had happened, but as you can see, we brought back the caravan just the way that you wanted it. So if you do see your friar again, though, tell him that we have relieved ourselves of his employment and that will take substantially more for us to venture forward with people that are so unreliable, but so glad that you're safe. And yes, you're welcome for your caravan being in one piece.
You're firing us?
Yeah, we are.
Sounds like it.
We're terminating the relationship. Let's put it that way.
That'll be the easiest job you've ever had.
Well, we thank you for the money. Thank you so much for paying us up front.
Wait. Where's our dog?
Your dog? The dog's there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
He's the best boy.
Right.
Oh my god, I'm giving these guys 1 star on Merc review.
What? They did the job.
I'll get us a cabin here at Clashed Antler for the night.
Okay.
What are we going to do about our missing monk?
So, switching back to your missing monk, your friar, Brother Gwillem. So he's just like, he's just like heaved up against the tree and just like he looks like an absolute wreck. He's got numerous wounds that you can see now, like his robes are shredded as well. He's not looking good. His face is it's totally inked basically, but he's sallow faced, blood running down from his socket, and he's looking pretty darn rough.
Can you push that eyeball back in, dude, so John doesn't describe it anymore?
It's not like drooping out. It's just gone. It's just like
Just
Oh,
go.
I thought it was like hanging off his cheek.
No. I can be gross, but not that gross.
Well, I was gonna patch him up with some herbs, but I realized that though I have exceptional herb skills, I don't have any herbs on my person. So too bad for this guy. What's that?
You can still do isn't there like a first aid? I thought there was.
I believe it requires.
He like peers up at you like through the blood, and he looks up at you with like the one eye. He's like, why did you save me? You could have left me for dead. You know that we wished you ill for what you've done.
And yet I did not. And for that, you owe me a life debt, something more sacred than any of the oaths in the Dolmen Wood.
Is that the way it works in your church, eh? I am in debt to no man, but I give you my gratitude for saving me. Thank you. And I mean that. My companions all gone, all meat for that troop. But we showed them. Most of us did. It was only me and that other one that made it through. The rest are all dead.
We have a common enemy in the Nag Lord and his minions. Appear that they are expanding far beyond.
Where have you heard that name?
The Nag Lord? I've heard it whispered upon the wind by many folk. I don't actively recall who mentioned the Nag Lord to me.
Indeed, he is
But
a common enemy.
It is one.
He puts like one like gnarled hand on your arm, and he grips it like really tight, and he's like, "It is an existential threat. You understand this, right? Yes."
I do, which is why I had to save your life, because we have to find a way of brokering peace and preventing him from spreading his pestilent ideology.
Do you speak from a position of authority? Do you have some sort of rank within the church? Do you have secrets that we could use? Secrets we could use against it?
Do you? Certainly we could work together to determine the best course of action.
He like hunches away and like pulls his arm away. He's like, "It is not for you to ask. Our secrets are our own. But you would be right in thinking that you should give us what you know.
And yet secrets keep us fragmented, but individual ants isolated from our collaborators in the defense of our home.
I do not have time for your troubles, monk. There's no time for lessons. Look at me.
Secrets. So I slap him across the face. Secrets will get us both killed. Secrets will get us both killed. And if you value life as I have just saved it, you will recognize that we have to barter in information, despite our misgivings, in order to survive. Because survival is exactly what is at stake, not just for us, but for all of the Dolmenwood.
He looks wildly around, looking like kind of sizing up, can he make an escape? Can he just run for it, sort of thing? But you've sort of.
I'm not trying to interrogate him, by the way. I'm not trying to be.
No, yeah. He doesn't like it's obvious that he's been debated into a corner, right? And he's so so weak. You know what I mean? So he basically is it's like sustenance and respite is what I need right now. We can debate further later. Is there shelter around here?
Let us, my companions and I, camps to the north of here. Let us find that camp and rest. I will forage. I will forage for food. Yes.
Camped along where? In the wilds? Yeah, in the forest.
You will find out when I take us there, my friend.
You have the cards for now. A wily one for a man of God. You see, he kind of sizing you up, he understands that you also like to keep your secrets, and he kind of he likes that,
Yeah, sure. All right, I offer a hand to help him get to his feet.
Okay, so yeah, he can basically only move at half movement. So, what was your normal movement rate?
Look it up.
For Overland? I'm sorry.
It's probably max.
It is max.
If it's max, it would be 18, I believe, right? No, 24? It's be 120 divided by 5 in miles. What's that?
I can do the math. 120 divided by 5 is 24 miles.
24. And he's also would normally be at that because he obviously not carrying anything. So be half that. So you're actually, because you guys are so lightly loaded, half of that would be 12, which is what the other guys were actually moving at normally. So you trudge through the forest. You see your signs, that you've made. So what do you normally have for getting lost because you're a friar? Do you have a special thing? That's a hunter thing, right?
That was the hunter.
Yeah. Right. All right. So roll me a d6, please. 3. Okay, cool. So you were able to follow your signs, not a problem at all, and you make your way back to the road. There is no sign at all. Well, no, that's not true. Argus, you left something there, right? At the thing. What did you leave?
I left another cairn. No note because he already had the note about Smunk, but there was an arrow pointing north towards Pigwort.
Okay. So you see that, Gwillem?
See that. I will turn to Lemnis, and I'll say Lemnis, which I don't think he's heard me say his name. So I'm not going to explain why I know his name.
Yeah, he looks at you, he opens his mouth, and you keep talking. He's like,
God, I know thing.
Lemnis, be calm, be still. Unfortunately, we do not have camp here. Clearly, some time has gone by since we last went through the veil of the fog gate.
You deceived me, priest.
I did not Lemnis, buddy.
Now the sun is down. We are on this road. Anything could happen.
Yes. Well, you know what could happen? We could go to an inn and find rest, but you look quite suspicious, I might say.
It's just like coughing blood.
Does he have any recognizable garb that would identify him as a druid?
Yeah, pretty much. He's wearing the black cottager robes, which are these very kind of homespun like a survivalist sort of roads.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So I'm gonna say we have to get you out of these clothes if you're to survive. There is no option. And I'm gonna take the ropes out of them.
It's just humiliating this guy in every which way.
I want to see where those tattoos go.
Just strip him of all of his dignity.
all the way down.
Okay, so I should say though, but it took you about 4 hours to get back to the road, and it was about 5 p.m. when you started your journey. So by this time, it's actually nighttime, 9 p.m. So it's you're on a road, which makes things substantially safer, but it is still, I should tell you, like completely dark. Except for, well, what did I say? It was bright and no, it's a brisk and clear day. So you would have starlight and moonlight. But even on the Horseye Road, the trees basically, are over top. There's a canopy over top, so it shuts out a lot of that natural starlight. So it's pretty dark here. So
Makes sense.
First of all, what are you going to do for light, and then what do you actually plan to do long term here?
I would like to force us to march through the night to Brigwort, but I would like to get him out of his Druun clothes. I presume that I have something under my robes, not just I don't know what I would have under my robes. Would I have anything under my robes?
I don't
Great question.
A breach clout probably or something.
Something like that. Yeah. So I'm gonna take his robes. I'm gonna say, give me your robes.
All right. Yeah, he can't. He doesn't like it. He complains the entire time. But
I'm gonna
use my safe word in this session. I don't like where this is going.
I'm gonna throw his robes in my pack so we have them still. I'm gonna give him my robes, so he looks to be in a friar's sort of like dress, and I'm just gonna be in my pantaloons, I suppose.
Mendicant or something? Is it?
Yeah, whatever. Or I'll just be a nudist. Whatever is necessary for the good of. And
he's covered in tattoos, right, on his face.
His whole face.
Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming you have like a hood, right?
Yeah. There
gotta have
must
that.
be a hood. I'll say, draw your hood up, and I'll say it's we have to go to the inn to rest. It's our only option that won't get us murdered. So keep quiet. Hide your face.
He grabs you. He's a little bit shorter than you, right? But he kind of grabs you and he looks up at you and is like, he puts his wound like right up towards you, like looking right at you, and he's like, you know that it's the wound that's going to draw attention. Yes, I'm strange looking. Yes, I'm a Druun cottager, but they don't just hang Druun when they appear in town, you fool. People respect us. Unlike some others that I could name, who have left our bodies cold in the earth. But I cannot argue. I'm in too much pain.
Discretion is necessary, for we have to heal and speak, and the announcement of a Druun in town, in whatever time we live in, without any circumstances we understand, can nevertheless be perilous, my friend. I understand that your pride demands people recognize you, but this is not a time for pride. This is a time for healing. Come.
All right. So he heads off with you along the road at nighttime.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just do a little thing here.
I will be right back. I just got to check on a kid.
In a very special episode of BJ and the Bear.
Yeah, exactly. I would watch this show.
David, are you heading towards Prigwort or towards the Abbot's Rest there?
I'm heading towards I'm heading toward Prigwort because there's only so long. I mean, there are full transparency, there are a million schemes I can come up with. There's only so long we want to split the conversation between all of us.
And
so
I
I'm
appreciate
bringing
that,
him
David.
to
Thank you.
Guys.
Yes, thank you.
It's either stab him in the throat now or bring him to you guys, and I think y'all having some say in this process is probably good.
Just cast Cure Light Wounds on him in the morning. Say, have a good day. Please remember that we saved your life and that we're sorry that we accidentally trespassed on your territory. We'd love to get together with you guys and sort it out.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
so
probably some version of what we'll say. Absolutely.
Oops.
Yeah.
I fucked up. Hold on. I opened a program I didn't want to. Now it's got a big take a time. Hold on. I opened GIMP. I don't want GIMP. I want
Get the game.
That one. That's the one I want. Okay.
That's what he wants. Whatever it is.
The old pre-warp map here. I guess got to check to see if there's a thing with a thing. Yeah. Okay. So you spend another 4 hours on the road at nighttime, just kind of trudging along. So not surprising at all. You see no travelers at all at nighttime, but thankfully, despite the disturbing and sounds you hear off in the forest of wild beasts rummaging through the forest, you don't encounter any, and you are left unmolested upon your journey back into Pre-Wart. So by the time you arrive, it's really late. I mean, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, right? So when you come through the turret gate, which is right next to the Church of St. Waylain, in the graveyard, there, like, it's a quiet town. Like, there's like no one out at all, and like all the lights are basically off. And you see, like, off down in the distance on the main avenue, like maybe like a member of the Ale Guard sleepily late making his patrol, sort of thing. But it's very, very quiet, almost ominous, especially whenever you enter the gate and you're confronted with the church, which is where you were told to, it depends on how you would interpret the Argus's marking, but it was, meet at Smonk's place. And you know that either meant the church specifically or Pre-Wart in general. You're not really sure how, but anyways, it's super late. That's what I'm just putting out there. There's no one around.
Can we, having been here for probably, 6 months, 7 months before he shows up, can we have left a note with Smunk saying, hey, we came back on this day, recovered our wagon, staying at the Crashed Antler?
Yeah, you know what this is reminding me of in like a really good way is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh.
Like how they would, like they would anticipate like what their future selves would see. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's good stuff.
Right.
We
We
should
leave a
also
note
leave
for
a note.
ourselves. Don't kill the Droon, dude. Oh yeah.
Right. So Gwillem, what do you do when you come into town?
Based on the note, I would go to monastery first.
Yeah.
Okay. So
logical.
Yep, it's a church. It's like a big rambling structure, not a monastery.
Sorry, I keep saying monastery. Yeah.
Differences, man. Yep. So there's no one about. So, but the church is always open, of course. So when you walk in, it's very, very peaceful. There is like a couple of candles lit. You know what I mean? Just very small little votive candles, but not enough to be a threat to burn the place down or anything. But so it's actually probably even more holy in your mind. It's very, no sound from outside, very quiet, dark, pitch black at night. Just a couple of candles lighting the nave. So
I'm going to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I don't know if I've described this place before. I'm not really sure, but anyways, just real briefly, it's lined with pillars. It's quite a grand structure, actually. Nowhere near as grand as the Cathedral of St. Cygnus in Castle Brackenwold, but it's lined with pillars of white marble that basically draws your eyesight right down to the altar, where there are stained glass windows in the apse that actually, in the daytime, would have light that would light the huge bronze statue of St. Waylain, who is unusually depicted. He's not usually depicted in this manner, with 7 arms. Each of them is bearing an axe. So that's basically the
lot of lumberjacks.
I'm going to usher him quietly up to the room that I used to sleep in.
Okay. Right. Yeah, he doesn't like the look of this place at all. But he's in a great deal of pain, and his moans basically echo throughout the nave. So much so that the half-goat vicar of Pre-Wart actually ends up coming down. She's got like her a robe on basically, and she comes down, and it's Leanne Smunk, right? The Reverend Smunk. It's like, my child, who do you bring? Oh my! She says. And she actually bows and gives like just a kind of a formal nod, and just says like flatly, she goes, "Watcher," and then the Droon just looks up at, just gazes up at her like, you look to be in quite a bit of pain, she says. So this is kind of like a battle of the eyes because he's got like no eye blood and she's got like one big ass bulbous goat eye, you know, from and she's sort of doing her ogre nose, like this sort of thing. And you look to be in quite a bit of pain. She said, "Brother Gwillem, did you were not able to attend to this man's wounds?"
Unfortunately, I was not. We were in quite a hurry to get here safely. Could you help us attend to them, perhaps in a discreet place?
Of course, we could do it here. It's late at night. No one's going to be coming in. Sure. She takes you like basically back to the sacristy, and like she gets water and bandages and all that sort of stuff, and attends to, and she gets you like a spare pair of robes so that you're not like you were basically naked, practically, you know.
Sure.
And do you, before I switch back over to the other guys, do you? She doesn't. What's the word I'm looking? Pry. She doesn't pry, but she's obviously extremely like interested in like what are the circumstances here. But she's not going to deny help to someone who needs help. So, do you tell her stuff, or she doesn't ask, but she just.
What I would say, I think there are a few things that would happen pretty immediately. I would say, have you seen my companions recently?
Your companion? Well, of course I have. They're at the Clashed Antler. They've been strangely quiet these past 8 days.
Mm.
Ever since they returned.
Okay.
To be perfectly clear.
Oh, they've been here for 8 days. Interesting. I clocked that.
Right?
I clocked that. And I say.
8.
Oh.
As in between 7 and 9.
I say there's much to discuss that I'm happy to discuss with you, but I need to get them here to watch over our wounded friend.
Go to the Clashed Antler, then. I will.
Can you care for him and keep watch while I do so?
Of course,
Please,
I will.
Do not let him attempt to leave. He is too injured to care for himself.
I can speak for myself. He's a I'm not an invalid. I'm not some child to be pushed around. I am my own man.
I am here. I'm looking out for your best interests, my friend. Surely you will recognize that the situation is precarious.
I am, unfortunately, at your mercy. I cannot move another step. Do what thou wilt.
All right. So, I'm going to run over to Glass Reactor real quick and go, we gotta go. Come with me. There's stuff going on.
Gotcha. All right. So, whatever you guys ended up doing for a whole week, it's like 8 days, and you're just like wondering.
On day 7, we went and attacked the drone.
Yeah, totally. So
it's now the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11th of Simswald.
Yes, I believe that's correct. Yeah. Let me
13 days to my birthday, boys.
He's gonna keep reminding of this, isn't he?
So John, right. I have a question.
Yes.
Before we left, Halifax sent a letter to Sir Chide asking him about basically the provenance of the blade.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Droon had said that it was theirs, and he was curious about this because, in his mind, either it was legitimately theirs or they were just trying to mug him.
Right. So, I was definitely within the span of time that's elapsed that he would have sent back a message to you. It's, kind of couched and, it's framed in like what a chai, as Chai-Thane, but when you open it up in private and look at it, he basically tells you in the letter that the blade was his. It was of fairy make, and it was bequeathed to him by fairy lords, basically back in the day, right, to fight against the Cold Prince. And so it is his. He says, if the Droon demanded it as theirs, it is the demand that they have for all things of an arcane nature. They believe it is theirs to disseminate, to study, and to use for their own mysterious ends. They do not trust it in the hands of anyone else. So Halifax, you may interpret that as well. They tried to mug me, basically, but that's the sort of frame of mind that Chithane thinks that the Droon may have been in. He is careful to say, though, he kind of makes like a reference sort of jokingly to how he's trying to adapt to life at Harrowmore Keep, and how things are sort of different after all these centuries, and that he cannot speak for the change in attitude of what the Droon were like back in his day and what they're like now. Things may have changed.
Sure.
Yeah. But that's his interpretation, right? But he basically ends it by saying, "The blade is yours. Give it to no one else." You know. So that's what he basically says. Yeah.
He nods.
Yeah.
Secure in his past decisions.
There you go. Cool.
Cool.
Okay, so now this is just sort of in terms of like getting us all back together again. So normally, and I say this to my listeners as well, I wouldn't just speak for what the other players, whatever the characters would have done in those 8 days. There's lots of stuff that I'm sure that you would have gotten into. So if you'll allow me, you guys can, if you want to say that you did something in those 7 days, it's important. You certainly can tell me. But the way I kind of want to give you guys like a little bit of, not a reward, but just sort of like to reduce the pain of not having. What I'm trying to say is I'm not going to charge you for the rooms for the Clashed Antler for those 7 days, basically. That would just be like a straight up like penalty, like So
we sweep up, we help around.
Yeah. I mean, if you're okay with moving ahead 7 days, we'll just say that you basically convalesced. We're basically talking about like what you should do moving forward with Brother Gwillem. It's like, are you just going to move forward as a party without him? You were probably at that point after 7 days, like, I think he's gone. Like, we're never going to see him again. Sorry, go ahead, Ted.
Well, so, I mean, I think we can afford to pay for the rooms, particularly if we can sell the cheese and potentially we had some stuff that we got off of the Droon beforehand. Maybe we want to sell some of that, but we've got all that cheese to sell. So,
well, if you want to be strict with it, I'm totally totally cool with it too. If you just want to be down with it, I mean, that the cottage is 1 GP per person per night. So
yeah, I knocked it off the company funds as soon as you said how long it took.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's cool. So, yeah,
I would just say that the thing that I want to do during this time period is I'm going to be memorizing like detect magic and stuff like that to see what, if any of the stuff that we gathered was magical, or if I can figure out what it was or anything like that, right? Like the staffs from the Droon, the lance, the dagger, the helmet, like all that stuff. Just
pork.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll any of that stuff is magical.
Well, that's actually important then. Sorry, go ahead, Halifax.
I was just going to say, I mean, based on what we learned from the Moss Elves, or Moss Dwarves, I keep getting mixed up.
Dude, you're like so racist.
I know, right? It's like, if they're not human, it doesn't matter. But
dwarves.
No, like so, yeah. If those golden elves are not enemies and aligned with the frost elves in some kind of way, then Halifax wouldn't feel right about selling their beer. That's stuff that should be kind of returned to them. That doesn't seem.
Here's what you think. Like honestly, like I'm sorry, but you are not the boss of the company. If that is a magical helmet, I'm selling that shit unless one of you guys wants it. Like here's the thing. It's not black and white. They're not good guys. They're not bad guys. They got their own thing going on, and they don't care about you.
Spoils of war, man.
That's what I'm just saying. Like for him, for those two things, for the lance and the helmet, that he pulled off the dead guy. Well, that's what it's
all about your interpretation. And remember too that just because I'm the one relating what the circumstances were of that event, and the same thing with the Blade of Third Chide as well. Like these are in-world NPCs that are telling you these things, and they have their own motivations as well. So right. How you interpret that encounter between and remember you saw the aftermath of the yellow elf and the Droon, and then when they sort of threatened you guys, you ended up like killing them, right? And they didn't, and you can obviously see their point of view, like why they're mad at you. Anyways, yeah, your interpretation is your interpretation. That's totally fine. Alfric, back to the mechanics here. You certainly have enough time to use detect magic and do it over the course of days to determine what amongst your treasure is actually magical. Now, remember, it's not identify; it just basically pinpoints what is magical. So, the lance and whatever gear you got off the yellow elf, none of that is magical. It is obvious from days of study that it is exquisite workmanship, but it is not magical. The torques as well are not magical, and you had a staff.
We had a staff from the defeated Droon.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
That is magical.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The torque is not.
Yeah.
No.
You said?
No.
And
There was also a Droon dagger, I think.
Yeah, there's a weird Droon dagger, and then there was like a elf dagger too, wasn't there?
fairy dagger, Droon dagger, elf lance, Droon staff, Droon torque, Droon books, elf helmet.
Okay. So all right. Thank you for reminding me. I only had some of those down. So, yeah, it's basically only the Droon stuff that is magical. So the Droon staff still has, it still has like with the Drunic script it's along it, it's actually written in green arcane energy. Basically, that's sort of slightly throbbing within the staff, but like much less bright than it was when it was being held in the grasp of the Droon at the time. So fairly obvious that it's magical. The spell book, of course, that they were carrying would be the first thing that you would probably look at, Alfric. And they are unique to the Droon themselves, but they have the same spells in them. But they do have some spells.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see.
I think we should sell the spell book.
You can have one. Do what you want with it.
I've one interjection. Well, the John looks that up. I don't think you have any interest in getting rid of the Droon staff now that it's magical and you're a greedy arcane.
No, actually, I do, because I'm assuming that it's blatantly Droon. Like,
well, which is, hear me out. I now have Droon robes in my backpack that I pilfered off of a Droon, and we have a Droon staff. And we are currently being hunted by the Droon, and we don't know with any certainty that that's going to end no matter what I say to this guy. And we also know that Droon are recognized and revered in most of the towns of the Dolmenwood. Probably not a bad idea to keep a staff and a robe around with us in case we need to go incognito. Just throwing it out there. That's very useful 2 items. Yeah. I can paint some tattoos on my face. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, you have the robe right now, but Limnus,
who says I'm coming back for Lemnis later? Listen.
Okay, so let's.
Don't forget, I have 17 charisma, so if I need to tell people I'm a Droon, I will.
Oh yeah, that's true.
For the good of the one true Lord, of course.
Of course. So Alfric, the spells that are in this spell book are Charm Person, Darkness, Sleep, and Hold Person. So those are all pretty juicy ones. Now remember that you have to, if you want to spend the time to copy them, you do need to roll your chance of copying. Let me get those.
Charm Person, Sleep, Hold Person, and what was the other one?
Darkness.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't have to roll for that because I am the darkness.
Ooh.
Wow, that's pretty sweet.
You believe in a thing called love?
Okay, so
are any of these second level? That's my first question. Like, are any of these second level?
Whole Person, I think, is second level. Am I wrong about that?
I'm afraid to open up the PDF because I think it'll crash my computer. Can someone look at that?
Whole Person is third level.
Oh, son of a bitch!
I can magically just say it's not in the spell book.
No. Thank you.
Okay, so let's see. You want to Darkness is the reverse of light.
Oh, okay. You have to memorize like a second, like not memorize, but you have to learn the opposite of a spell effect.
I don't know.
I thought you could just cast the opposite. You have to memorize it as the opposite.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way it is, or I would probably roll it that way. So yeah, that's fine. You just once you have it, then you have to choose each day which version you learn.
Gotcha.
Chances of it depends on the copy characters. Okay. Just looking for a time thing for adding these spells.
It's okay, bud. I'm not overly sweating it right now.
No,
I mean,
I think
really,
it's, I think it's fine. Do you want to make your rolls
the
now?
only one I need is Charm Person. I just need one. That's the only one I don't have already, I think.
You don't have Hold Person either, right?
Yeah, but you said that's 3rd level, so there's no point in copying that right now.
I don't think you can actually. Spells of a level which the character can cast may be copied from another source. Yeah, so you could identify it as Hold Person, but you wouldn't be able to copy it yet.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so Charm Person. It's a 1st level spell. What is your intelligence?
My intelligence is 16, thanks to that awesome mushroom.
Oh yeah,
that
your
I
mushroom. Yeah, sweet.
ate.
See, Alfric says
So
you
I
should
think
definitely
we'll give
truck with the Fae. That shit's dope.
75% chance.
That's right.
I think.
Yep.
You got
Absolutely brutal. Oh man, that's a rough one. And you know what that means too? You can never learn the spell.
Ever?
Yep.
I can. I will just wait a level and then try it again.
Nope. The roll fails. The character can never learn the spell. You're just not. You're not a charming guy, Alfric. It's just not your bailiwick for spells.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's pretty.
All right.
Hey, Mike, you want to play a friar?
Seriously.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Love it.
Okay.
Sorry, Mike.
Sorry, Mike.
So, John, if we could go back quickly, the Droon Dagger was non-magic.
Yeah,
Right.
the only magical things are the spell books and the staff.
Okay, and were we able? Did you cast the magic? Detect magic on the Dolmen Rock Fragment. Does that retain any magic power?
Yeah, I mean, over the course of the whole week, I would cast Detect Magic on your underwear. I just do it all the time, right? It's like-
Yeah.
So, John, is that rock fragment magic? or
It is not. No.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Not anymore.
And then, do we realize any cash for the cheese?
Yes, probably. Let's see here.
Well, also, I mean, we should talk about whether we want to cash it in, or it sounded pretty like it might have some fairly useful properties if we were to.
What do you
ever
get?
need to use it.
You got Bugler, Boot, and Hogger. Is that right?
And then the fruit. Yeah, Bugler, Boot, and Hogler, and the fruit.
Did I give you any
Yeah, what was the
amounts
life?
for that?
Yeah. Hold on a second. You said we had. Where did the? Okay, here we go. Here's we got. You did not give amounts. You just said sacks full of wondrous stinky things.
Okay. So I will roll.
So multiple sacks of cheese and fruit. Maybe one sack of each thing. I don't really know.
Okay. So Hogger. Let's see. Mostly green mold consumption by. Yo, that's some good stuff.
None of the benefits really sounded that great, honestly, Matt.
I can't remember. Some of them sounded Healy, which is always interesting to me.
Yeah, Bugler Boot has a chance of healing you. But
Yeah, but these won't keep. Didn't you say that too? That
Yeah,
they
they
had to
did.
sell them.
no, they're not gonna keep.
I think
Oh.
we sell them.
Oh yeah.
We're not wounded now. Let's sell them.
Okay, so they come and let's see. I'm gonna just looking at the form factor here. So the Bugler Boot is super slimy, and that has that's sold in sock-like leather pouches, right, like long socks. And then
Right.
the Hogger is actually in a round, so it's like a 6-inch round, so like this. So I'm gonna roll 2d6 for the Hogger.
Okay.
So 10 rounds of Hogger. And then I'm gonna we'll roll the same for the Bugler Boot. See how many socks we got here. 6. So 10 and 6. All right, so each one of those you can sell here at market for half their normal price, which would be 10 GP per thing. So that was 16. So you could sell the whole gamut for 160 gold on Kali, probably on the day. You get some strange looks like why you are selling Moss Dwarf cheese, but no one really questions you.
Okay.
But they're happy to have it.
Yeah, that's okay. If the benefit's not something that we can keep long term, then definitely.
Yeah, we sell that. And then we also had 100 sorry, not 100. We also had 44 gold pieces from the elf.
Right.
So we could put that money in just the company fund and worry about the knives and helmets and things later. Unless you want to trade the XP now.
No, let's not slow down the session with that.
So
Yeah.
I should say though, before you actually, well, let's say this. Let's say that there are some Moss Dwarves on Kali, right, who actually come from Orb Swallow, and they're delighted to see that you actually have some of their cheese, and they kind of give you a full rundown on what this possibly does. And when you hear it, Argus, you may actually think twice about selling some of it for, in fact. Okay, so the Muggler Boot first, which is the grosser of the two. If you eat a full pouch of it, that takes like a whole turn to eat. There's a 3 in 6 chance of healing a hit point. Right, so there's a 50% chance of actually healing 1 hit point.
You eat a whole sock?
If you eat a whole sock, yeah. But if you're not a Moss Dwarf, you can only consume 1 pouch per day without vomiting. So you can attempt to eat more than that, but you might vomit. Now the Hogger is the interesting one, Argus. Because if it's covered in a fuzzy green mold, if non-Moss Dwarves eat it, as in you guys, it induces the profuse growth of mossy green chest hair, which is pretty amazing. And they think that's like the greatest thing in the world. Like we're so happy to see that you have Hogger. You've had some, right? And they're like, let me see your chest. You know.
I mean, I would love to both be albino from the Fey Fountain and have just a tuft of
green hair. Yeah. Now this is all happening before you've eaten Rye Willem, but but that's not what gets you. What makes your ears perk up, Argus? You're like, yeah, sure, I'm going to sell that anyways. But they say that there is a slight chance, we've heard, that among non-Moss Dwarves, that for each round that you eat, there's a chance of your overall health increasing. As in, there is a 10% chance per round eaten that your con will be increased by 1.
So we're
gotta
eating
give all that
constantly.
We got to give all that to Argus, guys. He will benefit the most from that.
Of course. Do it.
I think I'm going to go buy some crackers, John. One of those little tiny knives.
Yeah. So this is like Argus's lost weekend. Like the 8 days is just a montage of
Just eating cheese.
just
I wonder
eating
why.
cheese at the Clash Antler. It's just amazing. All right.
I just keep drinking his wine and crying.
All right, roll some dice. I want to see if we get a con 6.
Okay, so what did I say? I said there's 10 rounds of Hogger, right? Each one of those,
It's nothing but cheese.
each one of those is a 10% chance. So,
I mean, we don't need the money, strictly speaking, guys.
Do it.
Let me ask this first. What is the difference between a 5 con and a 6 con?
nothing. It's still shitty as fuck. That's what it is.
The answer to that question is it's that much closer to the con where I don't lose 2 hit points every time I roll.
That's exactly right.
No, so going up to 6 con doesn't knock it down to 1 hit point per hit die.
No, I think I need to get to 7 to 7.
No, actually, no. I'm wrong.
Every step down.
Ted, you're at 5 con.
Yeah.
So you're suffering -2 hit points. If you go up 1 con, if you go up to 6, you're actually at a -1.
See? Totally worth it.
Yeah.
Totally worth it.
Yeah.
Totally worth it.
Okay, so here's the deal, Ted. You can't just quickly roll 10d10 because what it's going to do is add up all that stuff on Owlbear, so we won't be able to see it correctly. So you'll have to do 10 rolls, but clear each roll in between, right? Okay.
All right.
Can we make him sleep in another house or something?
Yeah, it's gonna be bad news, man. Bad news. No one wants to be around Argus at this time.
You're too pressed to be worried about your green chest hair farts. I'm in for it. I'm here for you, man.
Do it.
Your gas.
It's science,
That is the
right,
price you will
Wizard?
pay. Like Gwillem is now an albino, and Argus, you will like consuming this much Hogger in this short amount of time. Like your whole it's all green like all day long, man. It's like there's no getting rid of that. You just have green chest hair.
Bring it.
All right, so
Six figure, right? Isn't that true?
let's
right?
do it.
Six figure?
Everyone's waiting. Everyone out there on the internet's waiting to see if you can raise that con, baby.
All right.
We're all
Well, I need
we're all rooting for you.
This is on a percentile dice, right, John? Is that
No, you got.
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
percent.
percentile, yeah.
So he has to roll 10 or
All right.
under.
Yes, roll 10
I mean,
or under, correct?
Roll
Interesting,
10 and
yeah.
try and shoot for ones.
okay? So day one, I got my little crackers, a tall glass of beer, lunchtime. Oh fuck! Oh, God.
Other way. You went the other way.
So close, Ted.
Oh, come on!
All right, I'm taking them off. That was roll number 1. You're rolling a D100, or you're just rolling? Yeah, you were rolling a D100. Yeah, go for it. All right.
No.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
That's
Uh-oh.
2.
All right.
Try it as nachos. Maybe if you just
Nachos, yeah. Ugh. All right, that's 3.
Okay.
Today I'll make a raclette.
Ooh, well, that didn't turn out well at all.
No. Okay,
You
note
gotta
to self,
throw. You
not
better
raclette.
tell what you're gonna throw.
fondue.
Fondue. Yeah.
Fondue.
No.
No, that's
Pub cheese.
oh, geez, there we go.
No, that's 5, man. I'm gonna have some weight issues here.
I think that was 6, wasn't it? I've been hashing them.
Fondue, raclette, nachos, pub cheese.
It's 6. I've been marking them
Straight
down.
up.
You have 4 more. Yeah, I'm
French-
sorry. I'm
French
sorry,
onion-
Ted, but yeah.
Do French onion soup. Nice thick lid.
Okay,
Yeah.
French onion soup. Onions are healthy.
No. Okay. We're at
Never gonna-
that's 7. You got 3 more, Ted.
I'm just gonna do like a Dagwood sandwich. You know, like layers of cheese, get some onion in there.
It's just all cheese though.
Yeah, it's all cheese. Yeah,
No. Okay. 2 more.
I got 2 more, right?
Yep.
Oh, I'm so sick of cheese.
Oh, don't feel healthier at all. Quite the opposite.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna grate it over, some vegetables today. Perhaps that will help. Oh!
Really? What was it?
The
no.
the dice.
Oh,
like
the
for a
dice.
second, look at it. And then,
All right, last one, Ted.
What are you gonna throw, Ted? I want to know. Have it ready.
Maybe like a nice omelet.
Yeah.
omelet. That sounds good. I like omelets.
Put your valuables away, Ted.
Yeah. What am I gonna throw?
A celebration is
throw
what you're going to
Ted.
throw,
I'm
Ted.
gonna-
All right. Oh well, that's all right. But you have a lovely tuft of green hair. And hey, you go back to Orb Swallow, try it again.
Will it work more than once?
Hmm?
Will it work more than once?
Yeah, 10% chance per complete cheese round eaten.
Argus just moves
But
there.
I'm saying, say he goes up to con 6, he could go up to con 7.
Yeah.
Holy cow, dude!
We all need to be eating this cheese.
Telling you, man, Moss Dwarves, baby. Now
I'm
you're
gonna go
thinking
take a
Orb
turn.
Swallow's a pretty sweet
See,
destination,
this
aren't we?
This is what's beautiful about OSR. Who cares about like intrinsic character
Yeah.
advancement?
If I was
Just
giving
go
you
to
a
the
wish
world
at first
and eat
level-
some fucking cheese, dude.
The
Just
sky's
eat
the
some
limit.
Cheese. You can become a cheese farmer, all right?
Yeah.
That's how this works.
Realize
Except you have one bad day copying down a spell, and you can never learn that fucking spell again.
Nah, I might redo that because I could tell.
I can't even look at cheese now. So
No, you're never gonna poop again. It's never happening for you.
All right, so going back, so after 8 days pass, Gwillem, I assume as soon as you find out from a Reverend Smunk that in the next day, as you or do you go over there in the middle of the night to the Clash Antler?
Remember, I'm very concerned with what this guy's going to do once he's healed up
Right.
and mobile.
Right.
And I would like to include these guys in a conversation with him / yeah, I just want to bring them over.
That's great. Yeah.
Can I just ask something real quick then before you do? And we should talk about this just a second for a party. If we return to this Droon, the dagger and the staff, fuck you on the books, they don't exist. But like if we give those back to him, is that enough of a token to be like, look, what happened was a mistake. We didn't mean any disrespect. We need to not get murdered by your folks every time we go outside to the outhouse. Like, is that better than your disguise idea? I don't know. I'm willing to give up a magical staff because as soon as I use it, someone's gonna be like, "You're Drew," and I'm gonna be like, "No."
Here's some thoughts. I mean, it's a valid question, right? Like, I pried intentionally with the life debt remark to see if he was amicable at all to the idea that like he owed me one, and he more or less outright rejected that.
No, I get that.
Basically immediately. So like I don't know, and he's kind of sneering the whole time. Like he's reluctantly complying because he's injured and his life kind of depends on it. I don't know once that he's able-bodied that he has any interest in redacting those threats. Now, we should still explore every possibility for your remark. Other thought, the Droon are like what? Like fucking CIA? Fuck the Droon. 1, 2. It sounds like perhaps that we don't know, but from Chide, it sounds like perhaps the integrity of this group at its inception is different than the integrity of it now, perhaps, and also again from the language he used talking to me, as well as trying to take the sword from my dear friend Halifax. Sorry, Halifax. They view this all as like a grab, right? Like. Didn't want to exchange information, wanted all of my secrets, refused to share, right? Like, wants to take anything arcane, wants to take items arcane, wants to take knowledge arcane, agrees that, like, that we should be afraid of the Naglord, but, like, doesn't appear to have any interest in aligning with the church or society at large in that endeavor. Now, we could try to negotiate that, which is what I think is worth doing, but that requires us to either dive deeper and engage with them en masse and risk our lives, or give up. I don't know. Just some thoughts, but like
actually, though he did. I mean, I Halifax wasn't there.
Sure.
But I do remember hearing on the wind him asking you if you were kind of an official representation. You know, if you had an official line on the church. So,
well, what that sounds like to me though is that they're not communicating with the church. Otherwise, why wouldn't they have already?
Understand too that you get the distinct impression from what you saw on the White Way that Limnus is not a he's not like a high-ranking member of the Droon, right?
And they're not a high-ranking member of the church, so that actually almost might actually be a better thing.
And to also, and this is also could be Brother Gwillem's own sort of peccadillo, like his own sort of thing. Like he may look at the Droon as like a monolithic force, but they are all individual men. You know what I mean? Like you don't know enough about them to know if they all toe the line, or if some of them have different aims. Just be aware. Like
that makes sense. That makes sense.
It's a possibility.
I mean, I would really love to not have to look over my shoulder every time we go camp.
No, I agree.
Well, and Halifax, like he's with you, Alfred, because this was all a mistake. And he sees these guys, he always thought that these guys were supposed to be allies based on what we said, when large threats arise, these guys were a force that could stand with us against that. And this whole, interaction seems to have been a mistake. We shouldn't have been where we were. They came at us kind of hard. We came at them hard back. Mistakes happen, right? But this is a chance. Give them back their, give them back their stuff. We helped, we hurt a guy. We helped a guy. Here's your stuff back. Let's talk about this common enemy that we have.
I agree. I'll add one other thought to that. Again, with no aim other than expanding our conversation. It is evident to me, or at least in my interpretation, that the Droon, whatever pact they may have in the protection of this base, they murdered a golden elf, right? Like their protection of the arcane seems to be more about cloistering their power than protecting the realm. Because to protect the arcane would be not to go to war with the Golden Elves, right? Would be not to murder anyone potentially innocently on site. We don't know, right? But it's clear to me that they aren't good per se, at least in their present form. Otherwise, or at least to me, it seems to me that their motivation in protecting these secrets is more selfish necessarily than it is like benevolent. At least
I can
it feels
see
that way.
But we can also bring up the point that we went to Phrygia and hung out with some frost elves, and that there's a portal that's like right down there.
Sure.
And you know what I'm saying? Like we've already put Harrowmore on point for that, and the church, and they're all like freaking out and being like, Masamur Druj is like, I'm gonna summon the Council of Elders and talk about this shit because this is bad, right? So this could be the rallying point to get the Druun to come out of their shell. And we need I feel like we need a liaison with them, right? Like he goes back to his people. He says, we were tracking the people. We got jumped by some goat dudes that wanted to kill them too. I was captured. Everyone else is dead. And one of them saved my life and brought me back to Prigwort, returned our artifacts to us, said it was a horrible mistake. And worst case scenario, they're like, no, we're going to kill those guys anyway. We're in the same place that we are. We literally lose nothing.
No, I agree. I'm just saying, we can't assume like a benevolence on their part. They seem very selfish. Yeah.
Everyone else here, I feel like feels like they want to categorize people as good guys or bad guys, but I don't think there are any good guys in this group.
Well, yeah, and I think again, good point to illustrate that is that Chithane clearly managed to create an allegiance with the elves
and the Druun.
So like they are more useful as a barometer of success, right, and neutrality or like benevolence than either the Druun or the elves necessarily are individually, right?
Sure.
So is Halifax capable of being a neo Chithane, or right? Are we capable maybe of brokering these conversations as we intend in a similar way that perhaps he was able to in the past? Maybe that's more a conversation we should have. I don't know. Yeah, we can get into the weeds about this. I agree. Let's just go talk to him and try to smooth our
we should
immediate
be okay
peril.
with returning the artifacts, is what I'm saying.
With what?
We should be okay with returning the artifacts, right?
If you want to use it as a bartering chip, it makes sense. I don't think he knows they exist per se. Oh, I guess they would know that we stripped the corpse.
They literally are after us because we murdered that one guy.
It's a safe bet that they had worked out that we took stuff.
Yeah.
The stuff that the guy had, yeah.
Yeah.
Where's Joe's fancy dagger?
Yeah,
I mean,
fair.
I would say experience points, but
We got it back to town, Ted. We should get experience points for them anyway.
we haven't.
Right?
We have not received any experience points for any of that stuff.
Well, you bring that up with God, okay?
Well, how about this? Why don't we do it live and see what this fella has to say, and we can reveal these artifacts as necessary.
We are literally having the most metagame conversation.
Yeah. Let's do it live, and if we feel like bartering with these artifacts, we can, and whatever. Right? We don't need to predetermine the whole process.
If you want to take the metagaming out, Argus would be like, dude, screw those guys. It's our stuff. We took it, feel the battle, let's sell it. We got to make money. That's the whole point why we do this. Let's make money.
In a game thing, you would get the XP for that value of stuff that was brought back.
We didn't come here to make friends with Druun or elves. We came here to get cash, get rich, and retire.
I just don't want to get murdered in the woods. I just don't want to get murdered in the woods for no reason. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we saved a guy's life. That's a pretty good token of neutrality. You could claim that you sold the stuff already. Either way, I think we should maybe just go and talk to.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying that's Argus' take. Is he'd be like, I think we should sell it.
So first, of course, there's the matter that Gwillem. We can gloss over it, of course, if you want. But you make your way over to the Clashed Antler at 1:00 in the morning. Like there's nothing going on. Everyone's asleep.
The whole place smells like cheese farts.
Yeah, there's a redolent smell of cheese for some reason. And when you pound on the door, you know that the person that you're basically waking up is going to be one of the two over 80-year-old innkeeps of the place. So it's going to be Sepestra or Blino Jongle.
He knows which cabin is ours, right? We've been staying in the same place, right?
That's true. Yeah, you could just go to the cabin instead of pounding on the door.
Don't wake the elderly. Let them
I
sleep.
think I answered the door with no shirt on, right? Just with green hair.
Yeah.
Hey, Gwilla!
Yeah, I can
What the hell?
I see Argus just like leaning against the door frame, like, "What's up?" He's scratching. He's like, "A little late."
That's funny. I say.
Are you green with envy?
all right, green guy.
I lost it.
It is quite
Argus-
shocking when you hear at the end of the, late at night, all of a sudden, this guy that you've been waiting for just shows up, and you're looking, you're very travel worn, Gwillem, right? You traveled all day long, so yeah, I'm in that.
I say, Argus. Time is a flat circle.
What? What?
Life is. I've discovered a Droon. I have him in the church. He's injured.
Oh, let me get my spear. Hold on.
We have to move quickly. We may have to kill him. You jest, and yet all of the allies that he had that were hunting us through the fog gate are dead, save for him.
I love it.
Opportunity to
Come
bar
on,
for peace.
Dan. Okay,
We'll see what
okay.
happens.
I'll
Get everyone
start-
else. Let's go.
I'll suit up.
All right, so you get
Playing
up,
down
you
my
make,
visor, pick up my spear.
you make your greetings with Gwillem. Happy to see that he is alive, and you make your way back to the church. I should have mentioned too that I forgot, Gwillem, that you are actually your skin color is completely changed. Like your look is completely done. So when Liane Smunk first meets you, and she's shocked to see the changes that overcome you. But once
Yeah, wait till she sees this.
yeah, she if she's nothing else though, she's a very circumspect woman. Like she has a lot of tact, so she doesn't bring it up, But she can't help. You can't. But she's got that one orange eye that she's just sort of like eyeing you up and down with it, sort of rolling around like Mad Eye Moody sort of thing, So, anyways, you get back. She has finished bandaging up Limnus. Now, Limnus has basically been shorn of his robes for the second time within 24 hours, and is resting comfortably upon like a unused pew back in the back sacristy. But he's basically wrapped like head to toe in white bandages that are already, some of them are actually like seeping through with blood. His whole head is basically like a cross, like what do you call it? Like a cross wrap, like all the way around with like mounds of cloth that's over top of his eye. And so he's basically unrecognizable. So he looks like basically like a mummy, like all white with bandages, but then he's got like the spots of like dark inked tattoo. You can see similar to like I referenced Conan the Barbarian, the way that he looked with his tattoos. It's very similar in that way that all his entire body is inked in that fashion. Now that you see him, it's like you would have seen that earlier, actually, Gwillem, whenever he changed robes with you. But
If he dies, you're next, wizard.
dang.
I just rewatched the movie. I remember the line.
You were doing a Conan. I thought you were talking to Elfric.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, Argus. Shit, like what did Elfric do?
Argus getting hardcore.
I wish I was as good a wizard as Mako, man. That would be fucking awesome.
He's a great wizard. That guy. He's awesome.
Yep, Mako.
If you can quote Conan, you must quote Conan. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, this is the way.
Cosmic Law.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Okay, so you, he's like reclined. He's basically like unconscious, and she sees all of you. She says, "It is so late, but it is good to see all of you again and all together." He is resting comfortably. I'm afraid his eye is, of course, gone forever, but it will heal, and he will be all right. He will not be able to move from this spot for some time.
What do you know of the Droom and their secrecy?
I have not had the pleasure, she says, of their company for only brief times I have ever encountered them, but they are an unpleasant folk. They keep to themselves, and they don't brook anyone entering their territory. Although I should say that sometimes it is difficult to know when you are in the Druun's territory until it is too late, she says. But
It certainly seems they have a disposition of owning all territory.
they were here before us. I think sometimes that some of the more strident members of our church fail to remember that they have deeper ties to the land than we do. Us who are claim our ancestors from the Domin at large. They were here long before the emperor was, before the first emperor and before the church. So I understand their ambivalence towards our presence in the wood these many long years, and their feelings of propriety for all matters arcane. I myself believe in the seven mandates, and I do not dabble in that sort of knowledge. She kind of gives Elfric a little bit of a side eye, but I cannot deny that the mystical arts are prevalent everywhere in the wood. I know of the ley lines, and I know of the Triple Compact, and what they did for us and I wish they could remember this, that they did in association with the church and the Duke was a noble thing. So I think it would be helpful if more people remembered that, I think.
I agree. Allegiances are necessary in a land beset by all manners foul.
I should say, though, that this man in particular is a very unpleasant fellow, though.
He certainly seems
getting your face ripped off will do that to a guy.
Yes. Take that into account.
I have to admit that I saved his life, and he is not a big fan of ours. But I see some good as a man of the church, as you can understand, in trying to establish a connection again between our institutions. Unfortunately, I'm but a friar with very little repute. Do you know if anyone would be able to advocate for us better than myself with the Druun, perhaps through this individual?
Like you mean like someone with more authority in the church?
He asked if I had authority in the church. I'm just throwing it out there. I just want to have that conversation before you go talk to him.
She says, I, of course, would be willing to help you talk with him. But as far as, I don't think that, frankly, that there are too many people in the church that are as open-minded as you or I.
I'm going to give a knowing look to the guys and to see if they want me to mention the fact that we killed one of these. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't.
No. Okay.
She seems well. You do what you feel.
No. I'm not going to. If you, that's why I gave you the look.
No, man. I actually think it's a good idea. She seems like an ally. Like I'm okay with that.
She might help us as an advocate.
I think you just got to be real clear on what we were doing. We were just out exploring in the woods. We stumbled into some of their territory, just like she warned us. Just like what you said. I mean, I don't think there's anything to hide. The only thing maybe not to hide is the fact that me and Argus were like hanging out with the Gorestone, like chipping off pieces and reading shit. You know?
I won't mention that. Okay, so if sort of talking in a circumspect way makes sense, I'm going to do so, and I'm going to say we were exploring in territory we did not know was the Druun. Came upon a fallen elf, and soon thereafter, not this gentleman, but one of his allies. Fell upon us and demanded my dear friend Halifax to bequeath his sword to them, mistaking them for brigands. We defended ourselves lethally. And
she
now,
says.
yeah, and now this gentleman and his compatriots went out for us. I saved his life in an attempt to make amends, but I do not get a deep sense that it will be enough, at least coming from us. And so I'm sharing this with you because we hope to smooth things over. Yeah.
Well, you've done the right thing, of course, in followed our Lord's teachings by helping this man, even though that he desired your death when he was in need. So that I assume if he has any shred of moral compass, that he will appreciate that, and that will, when you do enter into negotiations with him or ask him your questions, that he will take that into account. She basically tells you, without role playing out the whole thing, that she thinks that this is a good fresh start. Like you have a unique opportunity here.
Precisely.
But if you think that he is a low-ranking member, she's not really sure how far that's going to get you. But
Yes.
Having an ally or someone, making an ally of this particular Droon cannot hurt.
Precisely.
Right.
Yeah, again, not to roleplay. My objective is to use a tragedy and pivot into a reopening of conversation, right?
Right. Yeah.
And use the tragedy as proof that conversation has to happen. It's sort of like where I'm thinking.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, you can see her eyes sparkle a little bit when she starts to kind of think through like the ramifications of what may actually be able to occur here. And she has like a deeper understanding of the relationships between these factions than the average person. And so she is excited and, would like, as she suggests, she would like that to see that happen. So she's excited for it.
So, I mean, if everyone thinks that makes sense, I just wanted to involve her. Let's go talk to them.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. So we should, this is actually a great place to stop. It's almost midnight, and we could pick up with that conversation with Limnus when he wakes up. She would probably demand you guys actually let him sleep through the night before you question him anyways.
I was going to suggest something like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, you guys are all sleepy anyways. The three of you. Gwillem's ready and raring to go, but
Can I at least put his hand in a bowl of water?
servant of God, my
Just
ass.
One final indignity.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that's great. We'll pick it up with questioning Limnus the Droon about how you're going to take this relationship and what you're going to try to learn from him. Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Another great session, guys. Thank you very much. To our listeners, once again, thank you for tuning in. It has been an awesome ride so far. We are on the cusp. We're so close as all of my companions here constantly make me aware of how close we are to 1,000 subscribers. So if everyone here could, everyone watching could maybe spread the words to their family and friends and just put us right over that hump, that would be awesome. It doesn't really mean that much, but it looks really good. When you look at the site, it just says 1K. So we'd like to see that turn around. Would be awesome. So thank you to everyone who has made us get this far so far. And we hope to see you guys next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe as normal. Hit the bell icon so that you get notifications every time we put something new up. And don't forget that you can also listen to us on all of your favorite podcast platforms. So thanks for tuning into 3D6 Down the Line, guys. We will see you next week. Have a good night.
Thanks, John.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, John.